Hi, I'm Lippy.
And I'm Grumpy. Together we're Lippy and Grumpy Do Podcasting.
In this episode, life lessons from Bond villains, can a spoon stop prosecco going flat, short naps and swallowing Lego.
Now, Lippy.
Hello.
We start with the sad news that mother of Grumpy, and by extension grandmother of Lippy, passed away a week or so ago, which is sad, but it is a bit of a release because she had very advanced Alzheimer's and hadn't really recovered from the operation when she broke her hip about 5-6 weeks ago. So whilst it is sad, she was a day away from 91. So it was the day before impressive. Her birthday, which I think mathematically feels quite good. See what it feels complete. I've always been fascinated with Shakespeare dying on his birthday, but thinking actually you've started another year. Then it's a bit like going to the petrol pump and put in £20
and one penny.
Yes,
because it's the whole 365 days. Yeah, that is actually quite poetic.
It is quite poetic. However, we found out today, because we've had trouble getting the medical certificate, which you need to register the death, that the doctor has put it onto the coroner.
Oh.
Which doesn't necessarily mean an autopsy, but it does seem rather odd to have a 91-year-old with advanced Alzheimer's and
wasn't eating or drinking for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, we think this might be suspicious. So we'll see how that pans out.
Interesting.
Anyway, so a few weeks ago, at our last episode,
yes,
you very, very confidently said that you could look at your memories on Facebook because I'd raised this image.
Did.
You did. What was the result?
You can't.
Thank you.
You can't. You can in an app that links to your Facebook called Times something.
Oh, okay.
But you can't do it in Facebook. I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was mostly wrong.
Well, you were completely wrong.
Oh, no, because you can do it in an app that links to your Facebook.
Well, that doesn't really count, does it?
It does. I think it does.
Anyway, I was a bit wrong as well because I mentioned about airlines charging more money if you or wouldn't accept a printed ticket and would charge you more.
Oh.
That's not the case. No, the case is that it's EasyJet. They charge more if you want them to print the ticket.
Rather than printing your own.
Yeah, so you still go along with your phone or with a printed PDF.
Ticket.
What you can't show them is a PDF on your phone, apparently.
Yes, that makes sense. You need the QR code thing on your Apple Wallet or Samsung Wallet or Google Wallet.
Or the EasyJet app.
Yeah, I've got that.
So that was two wrongs, which don't make a right. Third thing I have from 2 weeks ago was John Melloncamp, and I said he'd had various names. Yes. So John Melloncamp was born John Melloncamp. He then changed his name to John Cougar. He then changed his name to John Cougar Melloncamp. And finally went all the way back round to John Melloncamp.
Thing is, did he do this legally? Because as somebody that's in the process of changing their name, it's so hard. Like, that's a lot of name changes. Like, it's not a fun process.
Yeah, but you've not... Well, I suppose you've legally changed your name, but you can call yourself whatever you like. It's the fact that you have to tell people what your new name is. So there'll be records with John Mellencamp, John Cougar, and John Cougar Mellencamp for different periods. Yeah. It's quite good, though, because it identifies when in your musical history
you did something.
Yes. Yeah. We had a fun weekend in Cranleigh with the Carnival on Saturday, which was a very hot day. It was really, really hot. And the PA caravan is basically a sauna.
Yeah, you need an aircon unit in there.
Well, we don't have electricity, so I think an aircon unit was probably pushing it a bit. And it was okay in the morning, but as the sun came round, it just progressively got hotter and hotter. But a good day seemed to be had by all, despite the heat.
It looked busy when I drove through.
Yeah, it was busy all day. We had to cancel the dog show because it was too hot, which was the sensible thing to do. Mind you, there
Definitely.
was still a few people with dogs out in the middle of the day, which seems really
ludicrous.
It's just selfish, in my view. Apparently the test is if you can hold your hand on the pavement for
5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds or something. But you look at the weather, you go, that pavement's going to be very hot. So just don't do it.
Yeah. And even just taking them for the walk in the heat isn't good, because even if the pavement isn't hot, it is exhausting for them.
Yes, it is. Well, it's exhausting for us. So, and the dog doesn't have the ability to say, I'm too tired, I'm too hot, I'm going to do that.
Our friend's dog, my friend's dog, had to go to the vet with dehydration just from sitting in a conservatory for the day. It wasn't even it wasn't even walking.
They do get hot. Interesting, we've got a local marketing firm that has done some videos for us at a very good rate. And when the procession went through, he launched the drone from the arena. And it's brilliant.
That's cool.
It's one of those things, I desperately want one, but I know I wouldn't use it very much. So it's pointless. And I'm quite happy for it just to be an object of desire rather than actually owning one. Because I think the smaller one, so this one is under, I think it's 250 grams, and you can do much more with that. You haven't got to get permission.
Licenses,
No, you still have to have a license, I believe.
But not the
but it's
all the big ones.
Yeah, so the restrictions about how close you can fly to people and all of that stuff, which I don't really know, but a lot of that is lifted. And the imagery is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, a few weeks ago, I was watching a Bond film. I can't remember which one it was. And it struck me there are some life lessons to be had from the Bond villains.
Really?
Really. So I have listed a few here.
Oh, go on then.
So first of all, have total belief in your plan, which is always world domination.
I'll tell you what, I don't think this should be life lessons. This should be a tick list to see if you are a Bond villain in real life.
Okay, we could look at it like that. That's good. So
You
total belief in your plan, world domination.
I have that.
And be able to sell it to others.
I can do that. That's a tick for me.
Excellent. Dress very well.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. That's not a tick. Well, you look at a Bond villain, they're always dressed immaculately.
Yeah,
all the time.
I would be too when I was in front of a camera.
Yeah, but okay, well.
If I'm seeing people, no, not even if I'm seeing people. No, okay, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Lairs must be clean and tidy.
No, I do not get that.
Okay. Employ loyal staff.
Duckboy, I get the tick.
Have an escape plan for when it inevitably all goes wrong.
Yes, tick.
Okay.
Into the forest.
Don't want to know what that is. Brilliant branding.
My Instagram's quite good. I have 400 followers.
Well, there's more to it than just Instagram.
Well, that's branding.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah. So you're pretty close to a Bond villain.
Yeah, I reckon I'm a semi-Bond villain.
Semi-Bond villain. Right, so top quote from Rosa Klebb from Russia with Love. Training is useful, but there is no substitute for experience. I think that's very true. I think that is a life lesson from a Bond villain.
That is a life lesson from a Bond villain.
I'll rest my case. So we had a conversation at the pub a few weeks ago.
Yes.
If you had a time machine, what period would you go to? And it could be forwards or backwards.
It depends, right? There's a period of time I'd like to go back to, but with assurances of who I would be in that time.
No, you go back and you observe, or you go forward and you observe.
Cool, yeah.
Can't change anything, and you come back.
Fine.
Yeah, there's none of this time travel paradox where you make a change and everything disappears.
Okay,
None of
so
that.
I don't have to live in that time, so it's not like Outlander.
No.
Cool. I would like to go back to the time of Mary, Queen of Scots, and Queen. Was it Elizabeth I?
Yes,
they're the same time. Yeah, I'd love to have watched that in real life.
Is this based on Blackadder?
No, it's not actually.
Okay.
It's based on a lot of the films about them that I've watched. I quite like.
Mine would be a bit further back than that. I'm quite obsessed with how they built cathedrals, massive cathedrals, and the pyramids. I think but the ability of, all of that carving that went on is outstanding. But also how they got those big blocks. How do they get them?
Well, have you heard a new conspiracy theory about the pyramids?
No.
Is there not actually the point that we can see is actually the top of a massive pillar? So they built it flat and then with ropes pulled it up millions of years ago, and then earth and stuff has buried all the rest of the pillar, and you just have the top of it, which is a point like the tall pointy thing in Washington DC.
Okay, well, that makes it even more amazing if that's the case.
Yeah, definitely. Alongside the conspiracy theory is that
Aliens
it was built by giants. No, giants.
Oh, giants now. I thought it used to be aliens.
It was the one that links to them being massive. I forgot what they're called. Those Colosseum. They're not Colosseums.
The thing in Washington. I know what you mean. I can't think what it's called. Yeah.
The theory that links to them is that it was giants, which is why they're so big and why it wasn't hard. But the same with...
I'm assuming we could tell how far down it goes. We've got all sorts of scanning and imaging technology.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying is the more exploring they do inside the pyramid, the further down and down and down it goes.
Okay. So they've not got to the bottom yet?
No. They keep finding layers under the layers that they think is the bottom.
That could be a simple tunnel.
It could be, yes.
Rather than a stone structure.
It could be.
Nevertheless, whether it goes down with stone miles and miles or it doesn't, there's still an amazing achievement given that they would have had very simple methods of bringing the stones up. As Wife of Grumpy said, they relied on slaves, which is probably correct.
And a lot of people probably died.
Well, given the time it takes to build these things, yes, that would be the case. And probably shorter lives from it. But I still would be intrigued to see how they logistically managed building these things.
They had like a blueprint.
Well, they must have had something because it you look at it and it is perfectly proportioned, and it's not like a my DIY brickwork, which is appalling. It is actually quite good. And if they can build something like that over a number of centuries, why on earth can't councils fill potholes?
Oh, yeah, true. Talking about your DIY brickwork, Duckboy and I have decided we're going to do some DIY, right?
Fantastic.
We're going to build a pergola in our garden.
Oh, brilliant.
And I looked at like flat pack kits that you can get. So everything comes as one, but they're quite expensive and the sizing, it wasn't good enough sizing for what we wanted. So we've decided I found all the materials we need.
Brilliant.
It's about half the price.
Yeah.
We're going to give it a go and see what happens.
Fantastic. Well, the old adage is measure twice, cut once.
We measured a lot on Sunday.
Oh, so you started building?
No, I've measured.
Oh.
So that I could see, so I could find what we needed. And we will have to trim a few things down, but that's fine. Okay. So we're going to see when we have a weekend free to get it all ordered. Brilliant.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It will be. That's what we said. We're like, it's not that hard. And actually, there's one of the things you can buy is like a 3-way wood holding. It's like a metal. I can't describe it.
I presume some sort of bracket.
That's the word. It's like a 3-way bracket.
Yes.
To go onto the side, the bottom, the post that goes to the floor and then goes into the post on the side and into the post on the other side is like a 3-way thing. And then we were going to put little more decorative because they aren't going to be that supporting if that bracket's in place, but the little across cuts off the corner, a little piece of wood into each bit just to give it a little extra bit of support. But
that's a really good project to do.
We'll have fun with it, I'm sure.
You will have fun.
The next time you come around, we won't have a pergola and there'll be a load of wood down the side of our house.
I'm confident of a successful completion. As long as just take your time. Don't rush it.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Is my advice. Excellent. Look forward to seeing that. Now, changing tact a little bit to Aperol Spritz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually like apple spritz. I don't know why I said that.
Oh, I do. I rather like one. It is the drink of the Italian job, which we've done a couple of times. And also at Wayfest, there's an Aperol Spritz fan. And we have a hot day the other day, and I'd been out and came home with a bottle of Aperol and prosecco. And we hadn't finished the whole bottle of either, so I put the bottle in the fridge of prosecco, put a spoon in the top because that's what I've been told to do.
And I do that because that's what you do.
Well, it's what Wife of Grumpy does. To be honest, she's the one where this has come from. And I sat there and thought, is this the right thing to do? Does this actually work? And the answer is no.
That's not shocking. I've been doing that for years because Mum does it.
Well, I was convinced it didn't, and I read somewhere that it's somehow, the cold of the spoon somehow goes into the bottle and it forces the bubbles down so they don't come up. That's the theory. But a gentleman called Richard Czar in 1994 did an investigation where they took several bottles of bubbly, took the cork out, put them in the fridge. Some had a spoon in, some didn't. And then they had a blind tasting on the various drinks. And lo and behold, there was no boost in the sparkle of the spooned bottles, to quote his research. And also Mythbusters, which is a brilliant program. They also tried it. Same result. So if you're putting a spoon in...
So it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, but if it keeps a peaceful household, then there's no harm whatsoever. Just don't expect it to be bubbly in 2 days.
No. And really, just drink the whole bottle. Don't save any.
Yes. Well, I had a good go, but didn't quite manage it. Now, we've covered in the past the fight between Marks and Spencer's and Aldi.
Yes.
Or Lid Aldi, as it's now known. Aldi. Over the Cuthbert, the caterpillar cake. Appears it's been kicking off with Percy Pigs.
Has it?
It has indeed.
Not with Aldi, though.
Not with Aldi. This
with
is
with a little bakery.
Oh, no. This is a Derbyshire-based company called Swizzles. And they're pig mug sweets. And the M&S got a bit feisty over it. And apparently they settled out of court. So it didn't get as far as court. But they're obviously pretty protective of their...
Yes, because there's another one where they've been putting Percy Pigs on top of cupcakes, a little local bakery, and selling them as Percy Pig cupcakes.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and so Aldi sent them a whole bag of their, or maybe it was Lidl actually, sent them a whole bag of their knockoff version and said, feel free to use these and you can sell it as ours, but as a cupcake.
But it's big business. Marks and Spencer said their Percy Pig brand has generated £101 million in the last 40 years. Sorry, 30 years, since 93, 30 years.
A little village bakery isn't going to ruin that.
Yeah, it's not, is it? It's really not. No, pick your fights. 271 bags sold each minute.
I do love a Percy Pig.
That's a lot of sugar, though.
Oh, yeah, but...
I'm not sure it's the right thing to do.
I just ate a brownie before we came on here.
You did, very noisily as well. A lot of munching going on. Now, some weeks ago on the gram, I looked at a video of a panda falling backwards in a chair, somewhat similar to an incident you had at a campsite in France many, many years ago. And I thought, that's quite sweet. And now I'm being inundated with pictures or videos of pandas, and they are simply really accident prone. There's no two ways about it, but they seem to be indestructible. I mean, they're falling out of trees and falling off things, and they just dust themselves
off. Get up and carry on.
Get up and carry on as if nothing had happened. and they have actually become my favourite animal through this.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure whether we can own one here, but...
Well, Ted Lasso did say he would be a panda if he had to choose between being a lion or a panda.
He did, didn't he? You're absolutely right. And you're enjoying that series for the first time.
Very much so, yes. Yeah.
Really, really very good. I do find myself doing a Roy Kent every now and then. It's quite effective in meetings, though.
Is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you just sit there and all of a sudden go, no! Very
I
good.
might try
Very
that
effective.
tomorrow in my
very
in my little team meeting.
That's not really being a panda, though.
That's not being a panda, no.
I assume they smoke something because they do seem to be very relaxed and
Maybe it's the bamboo.
maybe it is. Maybe there's something in that.
Maybe start eating bamboo.
Oh, possibly. Give it a try. Mind you, I still don't see how you can make underpants and a butter dish from bamboo and both be brilliant at what they do.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a boys' trip coming up in a few days.
Lads.
To well, I hear actually there is a WAGS night out as well.
Oh, is there?
But three of us were due to go to the Le Mans Classic in 2020. And obviously that was cancelled for the
thing we don't talk about.
Yeah. And again in 21, again for the thing that we don't talk about. And then we were going to book in 22 and then realised that 2023 was the centenary of Le Mans and there'd be a big, big thing on. So we decided to
hold off.
Yeah, hold off for another year. So we are very excited. Very, very excited. My friend said I was excited as a teenage lad that's just found a stash of specialist magazines in a forest. It was a very specific reference, so I can only assume this
that's happened.
Has happened. But I'm trying not to get too excited because the problem is I don't sleep if I get excited.
Yes. I get that from you then.
Really, really difficult to sleep. And we've got a 4:30 start on Thursday morning, so I need to go to sleep. But typically, as you're coming up to a break, there is a ton of work and other stuff to do.
If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done.
Well, some of it matters because there are deadlines.
No, it's not your fault.
Well, it is because I suggested some of them. So, but I cracked off quite a lot of them today. So I've just got the tax office to deal with tomorrow and still pack and a haircut. I've mostly packed, but we're having a drop off with the van on Tuesday, so that's tomorrow. So it's got to be packed by then. Weather forecast not looking brilliant, it has to be said. It looks like it's going to be a deluge of rain as we arrive and try and put up a tent that we're not sure is waterproof.
What? Why are you not sure it's waterproof?
Because we're not.
Is it new?
No, it's an old tent. We have put it up to make sure all the bits are there.
Oh.
However, we didn't. It only crossed my mind later of trying a sprinkler. But the weather forecast has changed forwards and backwards for many, many days. So who knows? I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Just wait and see. Just a bit of water.
It is just a bit of water, and at least we can put all of our clothes in the van. So if we do get a bit damp,
you can change into dry clothes.
Well, I'm taking clothes that will dry quickly, so I'm not too concerned. So we'll be able to report back in a few weeks about how awesome that was. Is
it going to be what happens on tour stays on tour?
I think there will be an element of that, but there will be some amazing vehicles. And in fact, I found one that's in the museum at Le Mans that I sent to Duckboy a couple of days ago, and it's a full-size Lego race car. So he asked me to buy the kit while I was there. So I'm not sure it fit in the van with all of us. And
I'm not sure it fit in our house.
No. No, I don't think it would. You need a special room, a Lego room.
You have to take it out to the forest.
Yes.
Build it in the forest with the cows.
Anyway, good news.
Good news?
Short daytime naps keep the brain healthy.
Yes.
Yes, apparently.
That is good news.
As you get older, a brief dose, I add, may delay brain shrinkage.
Well, what's brief? 10, 20 minutes?
There is a good amount of time, and it was Ellen McCarthy who did round the world on her own on a sailing boat. So she couldn't sleep for 8 hours a day because you've got stuff going on the boat. But she developed the ability to cat nap, and I think it was something like 10 to 20 minutes. There is an optimum time to nap before you go really deeply asleep, which sounds wrong because then you don't really get any deep sleep. But she seemed to think
It's still sleep. Sleep is sleep.
Yeah, it was cat naps rather than a big long sleep. And she made it round and got back again.
Yes, because my Apple phone, if you snooze it, it's automatically set to snooze for 9 minutes.
Okay.
And I think that's because of a similar reason.
Is that the alarm?
Stops you.
That's the alarm on it.
So it stops you from going back into a deep sleep. The alarm snooze button.
Interestingly, it's got nothing to do with the body.
Oh.
Nothing whatsoever. It is it's due to the history of alarm clocks. So when the snooze feature was invented, scientists tried to retrofit it into analog clocks, but they were not able to perfectly fit the gear teeth to produce a 10-minute snooze, which is what they were going for. So they could either do it for 9 minutes or a little less than 11, and they choose 9 minutes for whatever reason. And it's a nod back to that.
Oh, interesting.
I think I've got an alarm clock. It's a electric one, or battery operated one. I think it does 8 minutes for some reason.
That's kind of like, I thought it was really clever, but then I did think, it's Apple, so it can't be that clever.
Yeah, I mean, what would be really good is if you could set the time yourself. That would make more sense.
I think you can change it.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're having a nap during the day,
yes,
up to 30 minutes, they're saying.
Up to 30 minutes.
Up to 30 minutes. Go with the flow is what I say. Now, you probably haven't heard of a gentleman called Thomas de Mailly, who's a French gentleman, born in 1744. You will have done because I've sent this round. Allegedly, he was executed for planning against the people of France. And in the death warrant, he looked at it, because you have to read it, and he supposedly said, "I see you have made 3 spelling mistakes." And then some sources say that he went on to correct it as well.
A man after your own heart.
Well, apart from the that being the errors on the death warrant, that wouldn't be quite so pleasant. But
the thing is, though, nowadays, if there's a spelling mistake on something like that, then it would have to be redone.
Yes, it does. It does matter, doesn't
it could void the whole contracts.
Yeah. Yes, it could well do. I'm not sure it was that sort of democracy back then. They would have just gone tough.
Especially not in France.
Definitely not in France, no. So he's gone top of my list of idols for being very cool at the point at which you should be panicking and pointing out some spelling errors. Well done. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of Private Eye.
Yes, you are.
And in particular, the Funny Old World section, which used to be curated by Victor Lewis Smith, who unfortunately passed away some time back. So they've kept the column going, obviously with another editor. And this one caught my eye because it's something that, as a parent, happens to just about every child, which is they swallow something they shouldn't.
Oh, God. Okay.
Now, in your case, it was a bit of a plant at your other grandma's house.
Oh, that's okay.
And it had disappeared. We weren't sure where it were. You weren't saying very much, so I decided the best thing to do was to put you in the car and take you to A&E. In the days where you could turn up at A&E and be seen within a few minutes. So,
oh no, you can be seen within a few minutes.
Probably not by
a nurse.
No, this was being seen and being checked over. So, and it turns out you hadn't eaten it, so goodness only knows where that bit of plant was. Anyway, one of the top things for being swallowed is Lego. So,
not shocking, actually.
Not shocking. So kids turn up at A&E, obviously with their parents, and this story is from Australia. So they had lots of parents turning up with their kids having swallowed Lego, worried about what the consequences of that was going to be. So some of the A&E doctors there decided to do an experiment. So they all swallowed the Lego. They swallowed a bit of Lego and then measured to see how long it was before it came out.
That's quite clever.
I think so. 6 doctors were involved in this. And there's various methods of detecting the Lego in the poo. Unfortunately, one doctor didn't find it at all.
He would have just missed it.
Yeah. So, but the doctors now, when the parents come in, say, I did that myself and it took 2 days to poop it out. And what better advice could you have at A&E than from somebody who's actually done it? They did go on to say the exception is button batteries, so little ones that you have in watches, and they can actually burn through bits of the body in a couple of hours. So,
they are, because they're very acidic.
Yes, they're very, very dangerous. So, and of course, in a moist environment, they'll be leaking electricity and all sorts of bad things. So Lego is okay. That will pop out. Button
batteries are not.
Straight to A&E. No messing around.
I feel like any kind of battery, I'd go to A&E.
Yes. Yeah. The thing is that you're unlikely to swallow a normal sized battery by accident, but
true, actually.
A small one, then it could be quite unpleasant. So, do you have a top tip for us?
I do.
Is it one of yours?
It is one of mine.
Fantastic.
And it's based off what I was eating before we started, to be honest with you.
Brownie.
Yeah, so I am going to be super nice. You've had my brownies before.
Oh, they're very good.
I do make a good brownie.
You do.
And I do use a recipe. And I will say where my recipe's from. So I use the Hummingbird Bakery recipe.
Oh, yes.
And it's free online. I think it's a magazine called Red that have the recipe. And literally follow the recipe to a T.
Yep.
And they come out really crispy on the outside and really gooey on the inside. And they are the dream. But my top tip is I normally make orange brownies or orange chocolate brownies. So I buy orange chocolate bars.
Yes.
And melt that down at the start. So it tastes really like they're like nice and orangey and chocolatey because love an orange chocolate. But on Saturday, instead of doing orange, I did plain brownies and then bought Biscoff spread, the crunchy one, melted that in I just left it in its glass jar and just put it in boiling water, got it all melty so it was really runny, and then drizzled it over the top of the brownies and then got a spoon and just mixed it through. And oh my God, it was so good.
That does sound fantastic.
So good. So that's my top tip. Make some brownies and get some Lotus Biscoff on top.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to trying those very soon.
Well, they aren't vegan. This is the issue. I was going to bring you some, but then I wasn't sure. But I could try and make vegan ones because it's dark chocolate. So it's not like it's the egg that's the issue and the butter.
Well, I'm 99% vegan plus fish.
Plus fish.
Plus Stilton.
So egg and butter. Right, I'll make some.
For one or two, that would be absolutely fine.
I will make some Wife of Grumpy birthday brownies.
Fantastic. So talking of cooking and talking of veganism, we're obviously going on this road trip. So we're going to have a bit of a snack off to see who could bring the most snacks. So I thought I was going to make some fruitcake, but I haven't had the time to do that. So I looked through, we got a couple of vegan recipe books, and there was a really nice looking flapjack with pumpkin seeds, a little bit of coconut in it, and chopped up apricots. So I thought, right, we'll have a go at this first just to make sure it's okay. So you use vegan butter, which doesn't look very appetizing. And you melt it in with the syrup and the sugar and what have you. And they came out and I undercooked them. They needed a bigger surface area tray for one thing.
So they weren't as thick.
They were a little bit too thick. So the bottoms didn't cook. So we've got them in the fridge at the moment because they hold their form, but as soon as you get them out. Yeah. So you put them out straight on a plate and eat with a fork. So it's not ideal for snacking when you're traveling. So I've had another go with a slightly bigger tray and cooked it another 10 minutes, and they're banging, they're spot on. But I was thinking, vegan butter, people are going to go, ugh, I don't know the idea of that. But Wife of Grumpy and the Horse Whisperer have been hoovering them up like there is no tomorrow.
So I was offered one of those. I don't know, I assume.
Oh, you were, yes.
On Saturday night. Unfortunately, the idea of a really gooey flapjack after a bottle of wine wasn't.
It's going to curdle somewhere.
It was going to curdle.
It's not going to be good. I also have made chickpea curry, which I've been threatening to do for a long while, which I really like. And I took some of that to the carnival for lunch because although we have a lion's tent that's doing food for the lions. It's all very meaty
Bacon
based.
butties in it.
Exactly, which is very hard to avoid. But so I take my own lunch, and I took this. My God, it's industrial strength flatulence after that. It's
In that hot PA tent?
weapons grade farting. There was no, I had to leave. I had to go out.
Well,
Walk
you
up
should
and down
keep
a
that with you in case you ever need to escape a situation.
Well, that's very true. So I'm taking some of that with me to Le Mans, as well as some of the 5-bean chili, because you can't take meat and dairy in, but you can take vegetables in. So
that's good, yeah.
hopefully it won't be confiscated. Otherwise, I don't think there'll be much to eat.
No, you should
For
be
me,
fine.
anyway. Should be all right. Yes. So I have a fun fact.
Oh, a fact that is fun.
Yes, and this is a fun fact. There's no downside to this one for a change. There's nobody's losing out. So December the 31st, 1899, Captain John Phillips was navigating the passenger cargo ship SS Warrimoo, interesting name, when his crew informed him that he was approaching the equator. So Captain Phillips had his navigator double-check their position and adjusted the course and speed of the Warrimoo so that exactly 12 a.m., which is midnight on the 1st of January.
1900s.
Yes, but not the end of New Year's Eve. Let's be precise there. So the ship lay astride the equator, exactly the point where it crossed the international date line. So the forward part of the ship was in the southern hemisphere, which was in the middle of summer. The rear part of the ship was in the northern hemisphere, and was in the middle of winter. Half the ship was in 30th of December 1899, whilst the other half was in 1st of January 1990. So one boat, 2 different days, 2 different months, 2 different years, 2 different seasons, 2 different hemispheres, and 2 different centuries all at the same time.
That is cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's like a once in a lifetime thing to be able to position yourself like that.
It's certainly once in 100 years.
Well, for him, like his lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
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 That's cool.
Yeah. That is very cool. Yeah.
Good fact.
I thought so. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
You can help spread Lippy and Grumpy's view on life by leaving a review on your favourite podcast platform.
If you're not sure how to leave a review, or if you download from Spotify, there's some help at lippyandgrumpy.uk/review.
And if you would like to get in touch, email podcast@lippyandgrumpy.uk.
So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.